Hope you're doing well. My name is Ben, and you probably don't know me too well yet, but I own a pool and hot tub business in Manitoba, Canada, and I also own a digital marketing agency. And so, after spending over $100,000 on Facebook ads, not just in this account, but in across my other businesses and client accounts and things like that, I've learned a few things about how to have effective Facebook ad campaigns. And so, I just want to take you a couple minutes just to show you some results that we've gotten for hot tub ads and sales. So I built out a pretty cool system, simple, but it seems to be very effective for me so far, and it's proven that way with our clients as well. So um, as you can see, last month being December, which is early, at least here anyway, one of the absolute worst months for hot tub and interest in hot tubs. We actually ended up making a decent number of sales. Like I was talking to one dealer, and he was saying like my goal for December is to just sell like one hot tub. I'd love to just sell one in December, and we ended up selling like three or four at least. And so and during Christmas week too. So that was awesome, and I was not expecting that. But basically, we just put out some very simple ads, and they've been working quite well. So in December, like probably one of the worst months out there, we were able to get 22 new leads. It's not a fantastic lead cost, but one of the cool things about this is that you can actually track exactly where people are coming from in the Facebook Ads Manager, so that if you're using the Facebook Pixel properly, that you're able to track exactly what your results are, spend your money more wisely, and also let Facebook optimize for the right types of people that you're trying to target. So that's a really powerful strategy we've been using. We kept it a pretty low daily budget in December, nothing crazy, but we ended up getting a decent amount of leads and sales from that. So I don't usually show people my ads, and the reason I don't is not for the reason you might think. It's not because I think someone's just going to steal it or whatever, because there's actually a lot of stuff that goes into successful advertising and marketing and sales and follow-up. Someone could steal my surface ad, but I'm pretty confident that unless they're a very advanced marketer, they probably don't know all the other things to do right to make it all work. So it's not just a matter of copying and pasting a good ad is going to get you the results you want. It's more complicated than that for sure. And I don't really care if people steal what I do, because I know that either if they were good enough to do the rest of the things right, then they'd probably be able to write their own ad anyway. So, and then other than that, I'd probably get better results anyway. So even if my competitors steal it, I'm not really that worried about it. But I don't typically like to share it, because people sometimes will make snap judgments, right? And they might decide what they like or don't like, or what they think is going to work or not work. And one of the great things about advertising is that we don't have to like it for it to be effective. So some of the things I put in ads, I don't particularly like. It's not unethical or anything. Like, for example, I hardly ever use emojis in everyday life, but I do know that they work quite well in ads. And so even though my personal taste isn't there, I know that it works. And so that's great. And so I'd hate to turn somebody off because they think that it's not their style, but really what the market responds to and what people go for is what matters, not what we think, right? And the other reason I don't typically like to share ads is because what works in one market and for one company might not work for another. It depends on your local area, the population, the culture, the style, all of that. You have to really test a few things and find out what really hits in your local area. So what works for me might not work for you, but I kind of have all the bases covered that I could make something work in just about any market, as long as they have a decent population. So we just have a very simple ad. We have it built into our pricing and our margins that if we can knock it down by $500 if they're paying by cash or credit card, it's not a big deal. So what we do is we just offer people a very simple $500 gift card, and they can use it whenever they want and apply it to brand new hot tubs. So it's not like there's terms and conditions on it too, right? So it's like if they're financing and we're doing a interest rate buy down, then we're definitely not going to let them take more money off, because we're already paying a lot to give them that special interest rate. They can't combine it with other offers, that kind of stuff. But other than that, it never expires. Like, you have to use it on a new tub, but we have it built into our pricing at any time that someone could walk in with one of these. And so it's a very low pressure way, right? And the reason we do that is because all these sale ads you see where it's like, act now, buy now, sale ends this weekend. We definitely do those too, but it's very rare, and it's only for our event sales. It's not for everyday advertising, because people will eventually get tired of that and they'll get hip to it, right? And so we want to have something a little bit more evergreen that works throughout the year. And as you can see, it works even in December, one of the worst months for us. So, and you can see I've been running it since October and getting decent results with a lot of these things. So, yeah, so it's just a basic $500 gift card. It sends them to a nice landing page where they get more info on what the offer is, and they can sign up. All they leave is their name and email. So many times I see forums where it's like, they're asking for like zip code and address and phone number and first name and last name, and it's like almost like they're filling out a mortgage application, right? Like all we want is to capture people who are showing interest in buying a hot tub, because what all of your competitors are doing and what all of the big manufacturers are doing and all the big brands are doing is they're trying to go after the hot buyers right now. And that's awesome. You definitely should go after people who are ready to buy right now. And this will certainly attract those people. But you also want to go after the people who are just starting the buying process and they don't know enough yet, and they don't have the right to, like, they don't have all the things figured out. They don't know much about hot tubs. Maybe they just like the idea of having one. And so when they see this come by in their Facebook feed, they're going to jump on that because they don't want to pass it by, right? Like they want to have it just in case. And so that is a great opportunity for us because we're going into the untapped markets, the people who are just showing interest early on in the buying process. Maybe they got a lot of questions, and we're going to make sure that they know us, like us, and trust us so that when they are ready to buy, then they're going to be coming to us, right? So phase one is to just get them as a lead, get them into our world, get their email address so that we can follow up with them. And that's where we move into the second phase. Second phase is following up with them, right? So we have some automated follow-up for these people. They get an email right away, obviously delivering the gift card, but then they get another one that's basically just starting a conversation. Because I believe, and this goes 15 minutes later. So I honestly believe that all sales happen from conversations, right? Like there's no way people are just going to like click and buy a hot tub from you, right? Like that's crazy. We all know that. We need to start conversations with people, and we need to make sure that we're meeting their needs to be able to sell to them. And so what I found is that just starting with an initial question that gets them interested and engaged in a conversation is always the way to sales. And if you're a half decent salesperson, you know what to do from there. So imagine that you're just sitting in your office or you're sitting in your showroom and someone walks in the door, right? You wouldn't jump at them and start screaming and shouting about the great deals you have, and they have to act now before it's too late, and they better sign on for these bonuses and all that kind of stuff, right? You wouldn't do that if someone walked into your showroom. You'd probably greet them warmly, and you would start asking them questions about, like, why do you want a hot tub? Did you have a budget in mind? Do you have a place to put it? Did you have a size in mind? Like that's what you would start doing, right? You wouldn't start screaming sales messages at them. And so that's what our advertising and our follow-up is like as well. It's just engaging people in very comfortable conversations and leading them from there. And if you're used to doing it in person, then it should be no problem to do it through email as well. And the goal is always to get them through the door. And then we go into the education-based stuff. And we have a whole bunch of emails here. I'm not going to go through them all one by one, but basically over a few months, we're sending them content, helping them through the buying process so that when they are ready to buy, or we are having an event sale, or they're ready to take the next step and actually checks them out, then we're going to be the ones they come to because we're helping them by answering a lot of the questions before they even ask them. So, for example, like one is like hot tub sales tactics. So I talk about some of the scammy things that some of the unethical places do. Or, we talk about price, like what actually a good hot tub costs, because a lot of people don't really know. They don't know what a good hot tub costs. They just know that there's some cheap ones at the big box store, and they know that there's really expensive ones, but they don't know the difference or what makes a good hot tub. So that's what this one's about. And then there's all kinds of other questions, right, about electrical setup and chemicals and all the things that people are, where do you put a hot tub safely? Like people don't know these things if they've never had one before. And so once they know that, and they get a little bit more comfortable with the process, then they feel a lot more comfortable reaching out to you. And so when you do have a sale and you do have something that might be a good fit for them, then it's a very easy and natural transition to get them in the door. And so that's what we do, right? And so we build up this list. We run our ads, we put them in our database, they go through our sequences, and then eventually, every once in a while, we'll do like we're planting the seeds this whole time, and then we'll do a big harvest where we reach out to people with reactivation campaigns. So people who are in the buying process, it might take them a couple years before they're ready to buy, but we're reaching out to them every once in a while and making sure that that they're not going to slip through the cracks, right? And so we have these reactivation campaigns as well. The other thing we do is retargeting. So people who come to your website, maybe they don't sign up for anything, they don't buy anything. You can, if you're doing it properly, can show them ads like a few minutes later on Facebook, so that you don't lose them. They're in your audience, and you can keep serving them ads over and over again. So that's just kind of an overview of the whole system we built. I've kind of packaged it up into like a 3-month sort of package. So month 1 is running ads, getting leads and stuff like that. Month 2 is doing all of that still, but then adding on a retargeting element where we're getting all those people who maybe showed interest but didn't take action. And then in month 3, we're still doing all of that, but then we're going to do the reactivation campaigns. That's the harvest. And if you have any event sales in there, we can definitely work with that too. So it's basically 3 months, and you kind of go through this whole cycle and repeat the process again. And so far, it's proven to be quite evergreen. And so I'm always working on the next thing to test. And we've got a lot of other strategies to show you too, but not until I've perfected them myself. So, for example, swim spas is the big one. If you sell swim spas, that is like a really good one. For example, I ran just like a quick test campaign in the summer. Where is it? I lost it. But we ended up getting, oh yeah, here we go. I just put out a simple swim spa buyer's guide, right? Like, hey, here's what a swim spa is. We have this guide on what it's all about. We had 195 people sign up for that. That's crazy. So I'm still working on the swim spa sales process. And so once I have that dialed in, then I'm going to be offering that as a service as well. And I know swim spas are where the big money is, but now I've got this list of people who I know are interested in swim spas to reach out to when I'm ready to go on that. So that's the beauty of this, is that it's a compounding asset that builds over time and just gets better and better as you build it. So if you'd be interested in having me do this for you, basically it's I'd like to do this for free just as a trial. I'm not going to set up the full system because that's a lot of work and effort for my team. But what I'd like to do is just give you a quick trial and show you that these ads actually will work for you and get you some ads for free at no cost. And we can go from there and decide if the full program is right for you. If you are interested in the full program, I started pricing it pretty low. It's $3,000 for the 3-month program, plus the ad spend to actually run the ads on Facebook. I'd recommend about $20 a day to start just to get some decent results. And then you can always scale up or down from there. But that's, as far as I can tell, it's cheaper than radio, gets much better results than radio. Plus you can actually track it to the penny, how much you're actually producing from your advertising. And you can even track these people to sales as well, because we put them all in a Google Sheet for you so that you have their info on hand. So if that sounds interesting to you, let me know, and we can go from there. Anyway, I just wanted to share some results of what's working for me in the hot tub marketing world, and talk to you later.